It's your boy Ty back here with another video. And in this video today, guys, we're going to be doing a tier list of the shooting guard position in NBA 2K23 MyTEAM. Now, before we dive any further into that, guys, if you are new to the channel, man, make sure you do smash that subscribe button. We're on the road towards 120,000 subscribers. Really do appreciate all of the recent support. Also, just want to make a note, if you have not watched the point guard tier list, make sure to go check that out as well. These in my top 10s are the best way, especially tier list, for you guys to figure out when you need a shooting guard, which guy to pick up, especially when you compare them, who else is at their tier for their respective prices. Now, before we dive any further, again, thank you guys. I'm truly grateful for everything. Let's get after it. Lonnie Walker, the fourth up first. I mean, he was a free locker code, and for the fact that he was free, I'm gonna keep him at an F tier, but man, Lonnie stinks. And honestly, I might drag him down to D tier. The card to F tier. The card is not good in my team. And you know what? Strus is bad too. Let's be honest with ourselves. Neither of these cards are good. They're both undersized. They're both not very good. They're both F tier. I'm sorry, it's the way it is. Desmond Bane is F tier too. Desmond Bane might, for as much MT as he's made a lot of people, he might deserve S tier, but Desmond Bane stinks in my team too. Christian Braun, I guess, is C tier. Here's the deal for Christian Braun. He's 6'6", can play decent defense, 35 Hall of Famers. He's not a garbage man in my team, but he is ultimately not very good. Duncan Robinson, another guy that, I mean, his release is better than a lot of these guys, but I guess D tier is probably the right option. KCP up next, and I don't mind KCP. Now, we got a lot of good shooting guards down here, but I think KCP is deserving of B tier. He's got a good release, can move decently. The problem I have with KCP is the fact that he is only 6'5", and I'm not saying it as like, oh my gosh, KCP is horrible. He's only 6'5", though, so that does hurt him, especially in the defense but in the court, but he's not horrible in my team. And honestly, side by side compared to Dantley, I think KCP is better. But Dantley's duo definitely puts him higher just because he makes Thurl Bailey absolutely elite, and I think that's deserving of B tier. The thing for me is, if you run Adrian Dantley, you have to badge him up. You have to, because he lacks Limitless, I'm pretty sure, lacks mismatch expert, lacks some key badges that you need out of your shooting guard, and so that, I mean, I've struggled with Adrian Dantley when I haven't used the card ultimately. Allen Houston up next. I'm sorry, he's D tier. Allen Houston is not good in my team, and I know a lot of people who got him are gonna, hate that I'm putting him in D tier. But show me what Allen Houston really gets into, because when I look at the card stats, badges, animations, he looks bad in my team. AK-47 up next. Is he a top 5 shooting guard in my team? That's the question I've got to ask. And right now, I'm gonna put him at S tier. Is he gonna stay there? I don't know. But I like AK. From top to bottom, he defends well, quick release, decent movement. Should he be your primary ball handler? Probably not. But if you're, let's say, running Luka at the 1, AK can be your shooting guard, and you can have a lot of success with the guard. Andrew Wiggins up next. I'm throwing him at B tier. 6'7", good frame, solid defensively. Release isn't necessarily the quickest. Doesn't get off the ground too high, but it is easy enough to green, just not that quick. I don't mind Wiggs in my team, and I think a lot of you guys can have success with him, especially if you did get Wiggins for free. Anton Jameson at this stage is D tier. For his time was decent. Problem is, that time is not now. Still has decent height at the 2 again. Gonna knock down wide open shots. He is chicken man Anton Jameson. Always has been, always will be. I'm hoping for a new Anton Jameson sooner rather than later in my team. Anthony Edwards F tier. I mean, let's be honest. Even when Anthony Edwards first came out, you think when he came out, 2K would juice him and he'd be at least like a top 10 shooting guard in the game when he came out. That was not the case. This Anthony Edwards was never good in my team, although I really wish he would have been. Benedict Mathurin up next. I think he's C. My whole thing is, I think Benedict's better than Allen Houston. I put him at D tier just because he's not that next level good. He lacks some badges. I mean, he was fine for a limited reward out of what, season 5, I think he was, but he just wasn't over the top great in my team. Bernard King up next. BK. See, this is tough for me. And this is really tough because I don't mind Bernard King. He's 6'7", decent release. You know what? Bernard King's good in my team. He's not great, but he is good. I'm putting him at B tier, right up there with Andrew Wiggins, to be honest with you. I don't use the card a lot, but he is up there with Wiggins. You guys can hate me He's not. Billy Knight's B tier. I wanted to put him at A tier because he moves well, decent release, it's easy for everybody to green. But that'd be my bias for Billy for Billy Knight. I like the card, but is he any better than Bernard King? Probably not. Brandon Ingram up next. C tier. I don't like BI. I don't like his movement. I don't like his release. There's just not a lot to take away from BI. Give me everybody at B tier over BI. Yes, that includes Billy Knight. Invincible Melo up next. This one might split the community. I think AK is better than Carmelo Anthony. I don't rate Melo that highly in my team, and I know a lot of people that do, and that's okay. If you guys love Melo, that's absolutely fine. I'm not gonna hate on Carmelo Anthony ever. I'm just saying, I think his release is inconsistent. I don't love his movement. He is A tier max for me. Chris Mullin up next. The card's not very good. I'm throwing him at D tier. I think when Chris Mullin and Cedric came out, a lot of people were excited because we got those two cards last year, and those two cards were really, really solid. Problem is, those cards are not what they once were. Chris Mullin is the definition of mid. Chuck Cooper, B tier. And where's my other free card? Where's Earl Lloyd? Where Earl the Pearl, whatever, here he is. Earl Lloyd B tier as well. You can hate a lot of guys on the list. You can't hate Chuck Cooper and Earl Lloyd because those guys can hoop and they are free in my team. All you got to do is complete a 3-minute challenge for those guys. I think it's in the Spotlight Challenges. Boom, you get your 2 shooting guards. Those are the 2 shooting guards that can take you places because they both can move. Both really solid in my team. They're just a little undersized, but if you can get past that, cards are pretty solid in my team. Danny Green up next. I'm going C tier for Danny Green. He is chicken, man. I'll tell you guys, there's not a guy that you're going to green more than with Danny Green in my team. His release, absolutely chicken. But it's about the rest of the story. He doesn't do that much else on the court. For me, C tier. DeMar DeRozan up next. Hate me if you want. I'm going A tier with DeMar DeRozan. I think he's better than Wiggins. I think he's better than Bernard King. I think he's A tier. Good release, decent movement. He's 6'7", gonna play good defense. At the same tier as Melo is kind of troll, so we might have to move Melo up, even though I don't love Melo. But I do think DeRozan is better than these guys at B tier. Eddie Jones, B tier. I'm sorry if you hate me. Eddie Jones moves well, has a good release. Maybe I'm biased because I locked him in. Before his time, again, basically the same as Billy Knight. Elgin Baylor, I'm putting him at B tier as well. You guys don't have to agree with me. 6'5", he moves well, good release, B tier. In my opinion, if these Chuck Cooper and Earl Lloyd are B tier, so is Elgin Baylor. Glenn Robinson up next, B tier as well. I don't mind Glenn at all. Is he, the most flashy player? No. Do I like DeRozan's down too? I'm sorry. B tier is just gonna be here we go. I'm moving people down. I have to move people down. I have to. I don't make the rules. It's just what has to happen. Duncan's going to F tier. These guys are all D tier. And we've got to move some people around because we're getting way too many people at B tier. And I just do not like it. KCP down. Let's see. I guess I got to move these guys down. I really like Billy Knight and Eddie Jones, but I got to move them down. I think this is where I'm gonna do because I still like all these guys. I think this is where I'm at. Again, B and C tier you could mesh together, but I think this is where I like them to be at. Glenn at this stage is D tier, and I like Glenn. I just think no, he's C tier. Glenn can still move. And if you don't think he's C tier, what I would encourage you guys to do, if you have Glenn, go back and use him. He can move. I used him in limited 1 week and really did like the card. Herb Jones at this stage, D tier. He's still going to play decent defense. He's not F tier. Card is not great in my team. Jaylen Brown, he's going to get paid in real life, but in 2K, I'll never pay him because he absolutely reeks, man. And when I say that, he's not actually that bad. But for a dark matter at this point in my team, release mid, defense okay, but he's just not great in my team. Joe Johnson, C tier. Nothing too crazy with the card. Just not very good. Hondo stinks. Oh my gosh. I want to talk about John Havlicek. This card is a bona fide scrub that can't play. You got John Havlicek out here, and he just runs around there and does nothing. His release is bad. He's not tall. He doesn't play good defense. Hondo stinks in my team. Kawhi, S tier. No questions asked. KD, S tier. No questions asked. KD, the best shooting guard in the game. I'm taking Kawhi right now over AK, though. That's me in my opinion. I think Kawhi is extremely, extremely good in my team. Chris Middleton reeks. He's 6'7", so I'll put him at D tier. His release stinks. He just doesn't do a lot on the court for you. Klay Thompson, B tier. I like Klay Thompson in my team. I know a lot of people aren't going to necessarily sit there and gas Klay because sure, his release isn't the quickest. All these things. I'm telling you guys right now. Klay Thompson is really solid in my team and can play at an extremely high level. I think he's better than Kyle Korver. I'm putting Korver at C tier. Look, Korver is going to do some things for you. But he's 6'7". His release, I think the Korver base is not very good in my team. I just don't rate Korver that highly in my team. Braun up next. Is it crazy to put Braun at A tier? Like, I know a lot of people love Braun, and I'm not saying Braun's bad, but is he as good as Kawhi? I don't think so. Is he as good as AK? I personally don't think so. And maybe when I get to my small forward list, Braun might be higher because I think that's his best position. I just don't think he moves that well. We'll see. I think he's better than Melo, but right now I'm putting him at A tier. Luol Deng up next. This is a tough one. Top of C tier? I mean, at this stage, he's just a little bit outdated. For his time, was extremely good. Provided good height at the 2, did a lot of things, but he's just a little bit outdated. Johnson, I don't really know. I'm going to throw him a D tier. I've not really ever used the card. Michael Finley is extremely good. I think he's A tier, though. And I know a lot of people are going to argue he's S tier. And look, S tier and A tier are both really good. For me, Michael Finley moves well. He doesn't... this is tough, man. This is tough. Because my whole thing is, I think Michael Finley and Kawhi are very similar. Kawhi just going to play better defense. And at the end of the day, Kawhi's an invincible with 55 Hall of Famers. Finley probably moves better. I don't know. It's getting really tough. Michael Redd, not very good. D tier. Mikal Bridges, not very good. I mean, I guess maybe C tier. I don't like Mikal Bridges in my team, though. Mike Miller, I mean... D tier, I guess. I don't really love the card, though. Mitch Richmond stinks. I mean, if you look at our Season 7 rewards and Mitch Richmond and John Havlicek, both of those cards absolutely stink it up in my team. Mopi, C tier, not great, but not horrible. OG Anunoby, B tier. OG Anunoby's a 3-and-D guy in my team. That's what he provides. So is he better at the 3 than the 2? Probably. It's the way it is. OG, still really solid in my team. Paul Pierce, I'm sorry, you're D tier. You're not F tier. You're not these bona fide scrubs, but you're not very good in my team. Ray Allen, D tier. Ray Allen, I miss the days. What was it? In like 2K20 when Ray Allen was like a lock-in and he was absolutely, or even 2K21, I think we got a good Ray Allen. This year, it's just not been his year. RJ is a card I thought would be good. Not good at all. Finally, we get a card I can hype up a little bit of Ricky Davis. Ricky Davis, as far... I hate this though, because Ricky Davis is B tier. I guess I'll put him over Billy Knight and Eddie Jones. I really don't like doing this stuff. Nah, you know what? I'm switching it back. I'm switching them back. All of those guys are better than these guys at C tier. And if you don't think so, that's fine. It's a matter of opinion. Ricky Davis, Billy Knight, Eddie Jones, they're better than all these guys at C tier. That's my opinion. I love Ricky Davis. 6'7", movement-wise is elite, immaculate. I like the card in my team. Rudy G up next. Ooh. I'm going to go low A tier. And when I say this, I just think he's closer to a guy like Carmelo Anthony than a guy like Glenn Robinson. That's my opinion. Release is a little slow compared to these other guys, but I do think he deserves A tier. Finally, we get some good guys. Scotty P, A tier as well. It's just tough, man. I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do. I got to do it like this. Because the way I see it, KD is the gap between KD and AK is way larger than the gap between AK and Scottie Pippen. That's the way I see things. It's the way it is. But I can't have them separated. Sean Elliott's B tier. I feel like Sean Elliott's release looks weird, but it's actually really chick in my team. So just really depends on what you're wanting out of the card. Definitely don't love him in my team though. Battier, I'm throwing at B tier, and you guys might hate this. Shane Battier is very similar to OG Anunoby. Little different, but very similar at that. Steven Jackson, another card, I don't mind at all. I'm taking Steven Jackson over all of these cards at C tier. 6'8", good height, green shots. I like Steven Jackson in my team. Now I had to add some guys to the end of this tier list that I did forget to add at the start. But it took me a while, but we're back. Jimmy Buckets, I'm throwing at B tier. Look, I like Jimmy Butler. He's a great card if you typed in that free playoff locker code. But I can't go any higher than B tier. Great defensive player, but as far as a primary ball handler, I think he is limited. Caron Butler, I'm going C tier. Decent release, 6'7" frame. He's solid for a free card, but C is as high as I can go with him. Clyde the Glide with the duo with Sabonis, maybe worth running, but by himself, I do have him at C tier, maybe border. Nah, you know what? I'm gonna go Clyde B tier. And obviously with the duo, you can definitely put him in even, not A tier, but with the duo, obviously makes the bonus a lot better, so does raise his stock a little bit. Grant Hill B tier as well. Grant, decent height, decent frame, gonna play great defense. The release is one that leaves something to be desired. Malik Sealy, I've never figured it out with Malik Sealy. If you guys can, let me know. I'm throwing him in C tier because, again, I struggle mightily with the card. Paul George, C tier. I don't know what else to say. C tier. He's fine. At the end of the day, he is C tier. Terry D, we got some good cards to end it off here. Terry D, A tier. And at the top, A tier. If you're a really good bow handler, if you know how to move and groove, if you are a 3-hunter, you're going to love Terry D. Probably the best 3-hunting option in the entire game. TT might surprise you guys. I'm going S tier. At this stage of my team, you guys need to realize I love Tim Thomas. I'm high on TT compared to anybody else in my team. Love the card. LaMelo base, Trey Upper. If you get it down, you will not look back. T-Mac, A tier, no question for Radiant T-Mac, A tier. Some people would argue S tier. Invincible T-Mac, I'm going S tier. Invincible T-Mac, just a little better than Radiant T-Mac. I mean, again, the difference between A tier and S tier is so close, it's enough difference for me to put Invincible T-Mac at S tier, whereas Radiant at A tier. Trevor Ariza could be good. His release is just not good. He's D tier to me. There are better budget options in my team. Vince Carter, B tier. I think he's a little bit better than a guy like Earl Lloyd, but not enough to separate them. Putting Vince at B tier. And last but certainly not least, we got Big Z, who I have at A tier. A lot of people might disagree with me putting Big Z at A tier. The one thing I will say, height runs my team, and until further notice, Big Z for me is at A tier. That's going to wrap it up for our tier list, guys. Only 3 guys at S tier, but I think these 3 have a gap over everybody at A tier. I need to know your thoughts on my tier list down below in the comments, guys. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you are doing it. As always, man, I love you guys, and have a blessed day.